I'm gonna quickly show you how to go through 5 Excel, or in fact Google Sheets things that you can do in order to increase your productivity. It's gonna be very helpful in order to manage your things. So the first one is basic formula, how to use this formula. If you're not an accountant, or if you are not good on Excel, if you're not good on numbers, this is for you. And the second thing I'm going to show you is how to use conditional formatting. It's going to be simple, it's going to be easy. After you get this, you make use of these and save a ton of time. The third thing is filtering, because if you have a lot of data, until you filter, you don't have enough information. So data is not useful. You need to make it so that it gives you information. So that's how you use it, the filter. Number 4 is data validation. How do you use drop-down lists and validate data? And finally, pivot tables. It's not hard, it's easy. I will show you, it's simple. So the first step I'm going to take you through is basic formula. So here I have some data. I'm going to show you how to use this data in order to get some information. So say, for example, this is about 100 lines here, 101 with the titles. So 100, it's a list of 100 things. So say, for example, we want to get the sum. Monthly sales is there for every single employee under different performance levels, different departments, different managers. So I want to get the total. How do I get the total or the sum? Is by going here, you put equals and then type in sum. And then the sum, it'll give you E2 to E101. It's giving you the answer already. We can select that. That means, so it's E is the column name, and these are the rows from E2, which is excluding the title, and then up to here. So that's the total. How can you check it? If you just Control Shift and arrow key, it says 886,245 at the bottom here, which gives you the answer. It's the total. So it's the same as this. If you want to have it in number format, you can just change it to number format, and you can play around if you want with the decimals and stuff, but I'm not going to take you through everything. Say you want the average instead. So what's this? Okay, going up and down, let me do something to show you. So if you are not sure what the hay is, and if you want to get to know, without, when you go up, you don't lose this row. You go to this row, second row, and then you say view and freeze. Freeze up to 2 rows. So first and second row is frozen, but you can say freeze up to 1 row. So that's just the first row is frozen. So you, if you scroll down, you can still see, okay, so customer feedback. So when you double click, it'll open it up to support it. You can drag here and here, but rather than dragging and trying to guess it, if you double click, it's gonna show you everything. So here, average. What's the average? Let's check average. You can check average, and then it's F now from 2 to 101. Say, for example, you don't know. Okay, so you put average, and then you want to select it yourself. You go up here, you can select from the mouse, or you can instead, you can click on the first one, Control Shift and down arrow key will take you down to the whole thing. Otherwise, if it's a Mac, it's Command and Shift and down arrow key. You enter and it gives you the average. Minimum, what's the minimum? You are looking at the attendance. You don't want to go, 90s, 70s. So what's the minimum? 73, okay. You don't want to waste your time. Instead, what you do is, okay, I want the minimum. What's the minimum? You can put plus or equals, say minimum value in a numerical data set, and then it's giving you the answer. Just enter 70. 70, there is one or maybe more of 70.44. Okay, what's the maximum here? What's this overtime hours? You want to know how much overtime, what's the maximum overtime? So you put equals maximum, and then you select it or enter it. 49. Oh, someone's worked 49 extra hours. So this is information. Data is not valuable unless you are using it as information. So those are the things that I want you to show. Instead, if you want to have it in a different place, for example, in a different tab, you can do the same thing. Say you want to add it into a different sheet. Okay, max total sales. You want to get total sales. You go here, put equal sign, and it says sum, and click on here, sum, the value. You go to the data sheet, and you select where you want the data to come from, and then do the same thing. You make sure you don't select the totals, and then you enter, and it'll take it to the next page. Total sales, maximum overtime. For example, do the same, equals max, and then go to the data sheet, and you can select, or maximum attendance maybe this time. Okay, or 99.99. Whoa, maximum attendance. Okay, so I hope you got the idea. Now I'm going to move on to the next thing, which is conditional formatting. You have data, but you want to have some conditions. What do you mean by conditional formatting? Say, for example, you have this attendance. You want to see how many or who had less than 75% attendance. So what you do is you select this column or select that data here, and then you go to format, conditional formatting, and then you say, okay, from here to here, so that's the range. You can give the range numerical, or you can select whichever way you want. You want to make it less than 75, but you want it in red or orange. So rather than you having to scroll up and down looking and highlighting, and let's say, for example, this, we change it to 70, it'll come up. You change it to 60, it'll come up. And then say, for example, in the same data, you want the ones, you add another rule. Okay, anyone which is greater than, say, 95, you want it in green, this green. So it gives you, oh, wow, these people are very good. Do you understand? So that's how you use the greater than or conditional formatting. Okay, and the next one is filter. Sometimes you want to see different data in different departments. Say, for example, this has got a filter already. I think I've applied a filter before, but insert, it should say filter somewhere. What am I missing? Let's go here. This is the filter. So I've removed the filter. So if you want to insert a filter, it's the same way you do it. So you go to the top, you select the whole data, okay, and then go down, okay, and select the filter. Data, sometimes it's under data filter, yeah. Remove filter or insert filter, create a filter. So once you have a filter, what happens is you can select one department. For example, you go here, oh, you have different departments. You're not bothered about the other departments. You're only bothered about the sales department. Let's say Oh wow, this is the sales department. You have the conditional formatting already for here, and maybe you want to sort it A to Z. So from smallest to the biggest. Oh, this is the biggest sales. Who's that employee? Employee 30. Oh, this is the second biggest. Or you can make it Z to A. So the other way around. So it gives you the biggest. Or you want to see who's got the biggest, best in terms of customer service feedback. Who's got the best result. So for everything, you can use this when you know how to use the filters. But if you don't know how to use filters, you're missing out on a lot. So you're saving a ton of time when you know how to use the filters. So you can play around. So if you have this, and if you want to say, okay, remote eligible, or maybe let's see manager. So now you have selected sales already, and now you want to see under sales, I want to see manager A and C. Okay, so it's only manager A and C, and these are the numbers. Okay, monthly sales, let's see. You can filter this as well. But when you finish everything, you need to remove the filters, otherwise it's going to keep the filters. So A to Z. Oh, 14,900. Okay, that's manager A and employee 30. Okay, so that's how you do it. You can do multiple filters. Oh, I want to say I'm not interested in below and average. I'm only interested in good and excellent. Okay, these are the ones. So that's how you do it. And if you want to remove the filters, you can do it. Or if you want to remove if you want to clear everything and select everything, then you get back all the data. Select, and here there is another filter. So you got to make sure when you see the filter sign here, that means there is a filter. If you check the rest, there is no filter. So that's how you remove the filter. So that's how to use filters, data validation, and drop down lists. What does that mean? Data validation and drop down. Why is it important? When we have drop down, say for example, if it's just a yes or no answer, sometimes you don't want people to fill details in. You want just a yes or no answer. Or say for example, if it's a marital status, and then you want to add you want to insert drop down from a drop down. So you give the options. One is married, second one is unmarried. Say you can have different colors, and you leave it so they can select which one. And so you don't give any other options, but they have to select from one or the other. So that's one way of having filters. So when you have that, it's easy. Otherwise they will put thinking about marrying, divorce, this and that. So when you give two options, they will either select one of them if you are only looking for one answer. So that's another thing that is very important. If you want conditional formatting, sometimes if you want to create a condition where you say, okay, this has to be numbers or it has to be dates, then you can create a rule. So you select a column, and then you say, okay, insert it's under format, conditional formatting, and you say this has to be a date, or date is, this date is, or date before, date after. So it has to be a date and it has to be after today. So you can't fill in yesterday. Say for example, if it's a timesheet, you want it to be after today. So if they don't fill it today, they can't fill it. They can't go to yesterday and fill it, for example. So those are conditionals. And finally, pivot tables. I'll take you through quickly on pivot tables so you get an idea. So what is a pivot table? Using this data, you can get amazing information. So let's avoid the marital status and then select the data. How did I do? Control, Shift and arrow keys. Now I'm inserting a pivot table. What is a pivot table? Pivot table gives you a summary of whatever you need. So I would rather include it in a new sheet so it's clean, and this is empty now. So what are the rows? Say for example, I want to see different departments in the rows. Oh wow, it's picked up the different departments. And in the columns, I want to see managers. A, B, C. Okay, grand total, good. And then inside here, I want to see the sales, monthly sales. So value is the monthly sales. I'm going to go to monthly sales. Oh, wow, different departments. You got the totals here, 297, 308, 280. Okay, so manager B has done pretty well. And he's done pretty well in sales department. Okay, that's good. So these are different ways of looking at different data rather than having to look at this and understand, okay, what's the, and then if you want to filter different ones and look at it, here it gives you a summary of everything in one go. Pretty easy. Once you get the idea, it becomes so much easier. So if you want to play around, okay, attendance, let's look at the attendance. Let's remove monthly sales. You put the attendance under the value. Oh, attendance. When you look at the data, attendance, it was in a percentage, if I remember. Yeah. So if it's a percentage, you don't want to add it together. What you want is an average. So how do you get an average? So here, attendance, you don't get the sum, you get the average. And then if you want to tidy it up, just go to the numbers and decrease the number to 2 decimals maybe. Gives a, oh wow, this manager B has got better attendance than the manager A and C. Or let's look at the feedback. I want customer feedback score, okay, values. But I don't want the sum, I want the average, because I think the feedback was, again, it was a score. So when it's a score, you don't want to add it because some managers might have many employees, which might add it to a lot more. You don't want that. You want to know the average. Okay, 3.24. This manager C has a very good feedback than the other two. The average is 2.9, but he's got 3.24. So that is how you use pivot tables. You can play around and then get amazing results. If you want to have, say for example, play around with this, if you want to know under each engineer or manager, say what else, if there is anything, employee ID, you can put employee ID under this as well. You can have more than one. So engineering, under engineering you have say maybe this is better, manager, you put it under manager here. So under each one you have different, and then manager 1, 2, 3. So you can play around and get to know a little bit more. So if you want to put an employee person under that as well, that will give you, okay, engineering manager A, these are the people who are working under them, and this is the average. So different ways you can play around and get to know what's going on. But this is amazing. If you know how to use it, you can get a lot of you can save a lot of time, in fact. So that's the beauty of knowing these things. Hope you guys learned something. If you did, click like it and then share it or whatever, and yeah, let's go from there. Thank you. Take care. God bless you.